Wow, that chicken and broccoli dish was amazing, and the beef patties were delicious. They were small and bite-sized. It was perfect. I really enjoyed it. Up next, we have Dhalimu Robinson and his fried Cornish game hens and cheesy mashed potatoes. Let's take a look.
Today at Neighborhood Chefs, we're here with Dhalimu. Hi, Dhalimu. How are you?
How are you? I'm well.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
A little bit?
Or a lot.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you prefer.
In a nutshell, all of these together is me.
Oh, okay.
I'm a little bit of parsley, granulated garlic, a little bit of seasoning salt, a little bit of sazon, table salt, not really, black pepper, of course, and a hint of sage. That's me.
Okay, all right. So what are you making for us today?
Today I'm in holiday spirit, so I really want to go with a poultry. Instead of turkey or chicken, I'm going to go to the little bitty sister, Cornish hen, and I'm going to crisp it.
Okay.
And I'm going to do some potatoes, Eastern potatoes, just out of the grocery store, 99-cent bag. Nothing exquisite. Well, I'm going to make them taste really wonderful, I promise.
I believe you.
And broccoli that I'm going to lightly steam, butter, garlic, lemon. Just make it all colorful.
Okay, so let's get started.
Oh, look at that. Well, first thing I need to do is take this Cornish hen. Excuse me. You have to talk to your food. I'm serious. If you talk to your food, it'll come out so much better. You know your mom said, if you talk to the plant,
they grow.
if you talk to the food, it shows. So that's our t-shirt. Talk to the plants, they grow. Talk to the food, it shows.
I gotta remember that mental note.
Okay. Butcher, okay? Don't be afraid of the chicken. A lot of times, poultry. People are like, I don't like it. I like to eat it, but I can't watch it. If I see it, I can't touch it. I feel like if you can't touch the food, you shouldn't touch the food. Ever. You should never touch the food. Even when it's done. Okay. Ow. So we're butchering. 4 parts, just like chicken. They're just going to be miniature versions. And it's kind of like a cheating to a diet. Like, I want fried chicken, but I can't have those big old pieces. So I'm just going to have some small pieces of fried poultry. And that's the Cornish hen. So it's kind of like, instead of having McDonald's, I'm going to have White Castle. But I won't be going to the bathroom all the time. Okay? So there we go. We have that all in together. And those are going to be your 4 quarters. Okay, now normally if I was roasting, I would take all of this fat here and I would trim it. But because I'm going to crisp it, that fat is actually going to be the extra oil and juice for the Cornish hen, and it won't dry out. It's not going to be disgusting. It won't be like pulley or anything, but we need that little bit of fat. Okay, so if you're wondering why am I not taking that off, it's on purpose. Okay? And now we're just going to take our dry seasonings. This here, a little bit of seasoning salt. It doesn't have to be the brand that we all know. It just needs to be seasoned salt. Granulated garlic, we must. A big difference between granulated garlic and garlic powder. One is for garnish, one is to cook. The powder is to garnish. Okay? Dry parsley, it really doesn't do much, but it makes the food look beautiful. And, you know, it always makes people say, oh my God, I want to do that. So I love that. And it does add a very nice herbal flavor, and it's not as loud. And when using herbs, the dried herbs are best because they're more flavorful.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Are you enjoying? Do you smell anything already?
I already smell it.
Oh, okay, good.
It's a nice blend.
This right here, this little sazon, this is just the regular one. You don't want to use the sazon accent because the accent gives you an accent. Really.
This was just enough. Okay.
And then the sage, it's not common for poultry, but I love it. You smell sage, it's pronounced, you know? So,
It's very warm smell.
Oh, thank you. Do you know how to cook?
Yes. Probably not as good as you, but I do know how to cook.
Oh, let's not do no measuring. As long as you can keep your man happy, keep yourself happy.
I tried.
Okay. No, don't try. Trying is failing with honor. Continue to do. Really, it is. Okay. So with poultry, you can always over season too. My take is, if it looks like it's done already, it's going to be really good. But if you can actually see the color of the skin of the poultry and things, that means that some little boy at the dinner table is not going to be happy because something was left out somewhere. So it should be fully covered. Okay? Now while that's sitting to the side here, just going to let that kind of marinate a little bit. Okay, so while we have our chicken marinating, we're gonna go on to the potatoes. Now when I whip potatoes, I taught myself about 2 years ago to stop putting them in water. You
Why
know,
is that?
because a lot of times when you boil the potatoes, not even a lot of times, when you boil potatoes, you have to wait for the potato to dry. And when you're waiting for the potato to dry, you're really losing everything. You're actually boiling all the nutrients and everything out. So what I've learned a little technique is to just slice, dice, and steam. And while it's doing that, I don't have to worry about, oh, is my water over boiling? Go check the potatoes every 5 seconds. Let me do this. And I also, when doing it, I don't peel the skin. I like texture. I like texture. I like balance. And it's like if you just have potatoes sometimes, I find that you can't tell if it's something complete or if someone really cooked potatoes. And if you're good in the kitchen, you can manipulate either, but I prefer this. And it's really simple. You see this? No fuss, no nothing. We already have the steamer going. And we can put these potatoes in the steamer. And a lot of times with cooking, especially for other people, they're fussy about gloves. They want you to use gloves. They want you to use gloves. And while I can understand the health hazard, for me, it's about washing my hands and knowing that I'm clean, not having on jewelry in the kitchen, and really, really using that. And this way, I can also feel my food.
Right.
If you have on gloves, you know, I can't feel it, that kind of thing. So that's what that one is. And now the broccoli, I love stalk, but everyone doesn't like it. It's kind of annoying. So what I like to try and do is cut out as much stalk as possible. At home, I have 2 dogs. A silky terrier and a miniature poodle. That's their treat. They like the stalk. They don't like it cooked now.
Interesting.
They like it raw.
Yeah, try to find dogs.
Yeah, very good. There's broccoli, stem, and carrot. And then they're not going to be fat and they don't have to worry about going to school and people picking on them because all they eat is candy and junk trees, you know. And now we're going to let that sit to the side, okay? Let's get the oil going. Now I always use vegetable oil when doing any kind of crisp. Well, something people don't understand is when you use corn oil, it may be on sale, but there's a reason for that. You're going to have that corn oil and you're going to bring your food home and you see this white, yellow like poultry. If you put it in there, it's going to look brown. That's corn oil. That's canola oil. That's what that does. But pure vegetable oil is clear. So I only want to use the oil to fry and crisp my food, not to, you know, turn my food into different colors.
Right.
Always have your batter, whatever it is. This is just plain white flour.
Okay.
Just plain white flour. Always have it ready, and it's much easier. And the smaller the packaging, the easier the batter will be, and all the pieces will be the same. And you don't have to worry about, oh, it's too much flour, I've used too much, putting it on the plate, all that. You know, this here is a half a cup of flour, and it's going to be more than enough for an entire Cornish hen. Okay? And I like to cheat. Whenever I do a batter, I don't just pull it straight out and put it into the fry. I like to pat each piece so I don't have too much flour. That way you don't have this one section of crisp and then it's, you know, like sometimes you order fantail shrimp and it's a lot of batter in them. No, you want to actually have just enough. Oh, can I use this here? Thank you. We'll set that there. And you're again doing it this way, you're also not wasting your flour. Okay, let me go to the other 2 pieces. I'm sorry. No problem. So what do you like to cook?
I like to cook fish more.
Oh, I love fish.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fish?
Salmon.
Salmon, yeah. I do too. Do you love basa?
Salami will be a second.
Oh,
I like salami.
have you ever eaten basa?
No,
You should give basa a try. It's a more textured fish. It's like a whiting, but much more textured. A lot of people don't eat whiting because they feel like it's too loose on the tongue.
Yeah.
But this is much more meaty. And it's really nice.
And it's called Vasa?
Basa. It's an original name for it. I forget it. I apologize. It escapes me now. But it's in the stores. It's Basa. B-A-S-A. It's a wonderful, wonderful, I'll put that there, excuse me. A wonderful fish. Okay, so now our oil is hot. We've done the little test. We say it's ready. And we're just going to place them in. We don't want to put too much oil. This is only 16 ounces of vegetable oil. If it's going in as if it's deep, you already need to start over. Deep frying poultry dries it out, especially breast. A lot of people say that breast are dry meat, but it's impossible. How could the breast be dry meat? It provides the most milk and everything around. So if it's dry, it's because it's not that you're doing it wrong, it's just another way. I don't like to say I'm doing it the right way or a better way. I'm just doing it in a different way. And my different
the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's all. Okay? And you see, thank you. It's a little bit of diplomacy even too. It's like, just know. When you know better, you do that. So that's doing that. This is doing this. The potatoes are already steaming. Those are going to be ready in a little while to break up, no problem. And I also like to condense my cooking, so I'm not using 15 plates all over. Now at home, I'm not. But if I have to cook in a contained plate, I want to rely on what I need, not extra. Okay? So while that's doing that, the broccoli, you can just take a little granulated garlic and put over it. Put it there already. A lot of times when you cook broccoli, you steam broccoli down, you over season it afterwards because you're trying to create a flavor from just wet meat. But if you put it in before and you cook with it, it automatically has a flavor and you find yourself not looking for salt and you get that. And just a little salt. That's a black pepper. And then my own little scoop there. It won't taste like it. It'll just heighten the salt so you won't need more.
I think I've never seen that done before.
I'm hoping you have it. It's one of the things I want to introduce to America and the rest of the world. Okay. I can just put this in the trash. Okay, we're doing good with that. There we go. And now we just want to nurture it. You're confident, it's not one of those things you say, just let it sit for 6 minutes and then come back to it. Fire is different, heat is different. You just want to make sure, sometimes you want to have it lighter, sometimes darker. But what we're going for is a crisp. That's why it's not over bad, I just want a crisp. Place that here. Pour your water out. You can turn that fire off for me, please. Sorry for just making you my fish.
No, I don't mind.
Okay. And immediately, we want to go. Okay, so now we're just flipping the chicken. Again, some people say flipping, but I like to use making. I love it. I do. If you just forget about the food, you forget about you. And the leg quarters, I keep turning back and forth because those are the focus. I can make sure that I don't burn it. And with the wing and the breast up, I always turn the wing head up like that too, so every portion is fried. Because a lot of people are like, how am I going to fry a breast if I'm not deep fried? How will it become covered? You just have to nurture it. Okay, yeah, I have it going here. All is still steaming good. Another 5 minutes and it'll become very nice. And this meal here, no oven is going to be required. It's going to be straight from the top of the stove to the plate and you're coming. But if you just have, I think that if food is rich, if you have small portions, it's equally filling.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can pour these out. I like to, the old-fashioned way is put it on a paper towel, but I like to just have a colander. The plain, if you're a big one, not plastic, don't matter, because it all can melt. And then you get contamination from the plastic and the food, you don't even understand. You have no idea. But this way, you can maintain the crisp. There's just a little plate underneath to catch the oil. that all of your food is equally crispy. The napkin doesn't touch the bottom and then turn that into the soggy part. You know. I'm all about making sure the kids eat every part of the food. You know, a lot of people are like, well, who do you test? How do you know the palate? To me, it's about a child. They haven't gone to Paris. They haven't gone to New York City, out of America, and farm down and south. They just know they're hungry, and they know that they're going to eat what's good, and if it's not, they're going to spit it out. And they don't have to worry about hurting their feelings because they're not developed, not to demean them at all, but they're not developed enough to understand that your food that you slaved over is still tough. They don't know that. They just know I won't eat that. So if the child eats it, you're good. Okay?
I like that listening test you got going on. That's smart. It's true.
So now we can just let that do what it's going to do, and it'll crisp naturally, it'll be fine, and it won't dry out. A lot of times, because of maybe vermin or whatever, we cover our food immediately.
Right.
But when you cover food, you continue to cook it.
Yeah.
So even though it was good, maybe when it come out the oven, when someone gets to the table, it's disgusting, it's
dry.
dry, because you've overcooked it.
Right.
Beef especially. Even when baking chickens and any poultry, I never cover. I think caveman style. They never had aluminum foil. So
That's a good point. A lot of people don't realize that you're trapping the heat.
You're trapping the heat, and even if you go ahead and stick those fork holes all around aluminum foil, you're not doing anything. It's no different than with us steaming these potatoes now. And they are steaming really good. We're just going to make sure the potatoes are tender, which they are. That's fine. So now we can strain the water from the bottom and start building our whipped potatoes. And they're really going to be whipped. And you will be too. I hope. Thank you. I should run that. Yeah, that's how simple it should be. And where's the big spoon too? That's my heavy spoon. Whenever you're using a spoon, you feel the weight of it all the way down, not just like a strong handle, but a weak spoon. It's everything. Like with my Auntie Kay, she taught me the greatest tip in the kitchen. Whenever company is over and you're cooking from the beginning, you pull all of your seasonings out. And you just put them all in one section. So people can look around thinking that you used everything like that, but they're not actually sure. And you never have to give away your recipe.
That is so funny.
You know, they say, what you put in that stuff over there?
That is smart.
And then they go and they buy all those things. Oh,
You want to use the whole thing?
The whole habit stick. Me and Paula Dean, we believe that. It's about butter.
I love butter.
Not margarine.
Butter makes everything better.
Oh, yes. Even burns. They tell us not to, but it does. But the reason, what I'm doing is building the food. That's what I like to do. So, you see how the potatoes are here? You see we don't have any water, we're not waiting, we've already gone to begin. And the butter will soften them. And if you add the butter first, before you put the creams and all that stuff, you're not adding extra. You know, sometimes he'll put the butter and mix it, and then he'll put more butter. But butter is delicious as it is. It's a very, very, very strong ingredient, and it can change the entire texture of food. Really overwhelming. And the skin of it all just really keeps it natural and it makes it more harvest-like. You know, you can actually tell it's from the farm. Okay, so we got that good. Leave that there. And now I'm going to add salt and black pepper. You have a little bitty spoon.
Yes.
Now I'm going to start putting shredded cheese. This is an extra sharp and a Monterey Jack. finally shred. You want to shred it, when it's finally shred, you really try to shred it twice. And the reason being is because you really want to blend it in. You don't want to capture chunks of the cheese. But this first batch of cheese, it's like, this is my first set of milk. The cheese is the other cream.
It's the smallest spoon I have.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. And so the chunks of cheese, some are shredded because that's to just really texturize the potatoes and evenly be in every portion of the taste. But then the chunks of cheese here are for extra bites of cheddar melting in your mouth. Like, oh, really? Like surprise. You know, like chocolate chip cookie, the whole cookie is chocolate chip, but then there's chunks of chocolate chip.
Oh,
Okay, so
I love it.
You can know your mom's recipe, your grandmother's recipe, your best friends. But if you don't have confidence in the kitchen, nobody will believe anybody gave it to you. The recipe, I mean. So you have to really trust yourself. And now you see how creamy and smooth that looks already? I haven't even added cream. Another little spoon. That wasn't for me. That was just for you to taste it for me to make sure it's okay. So it's not like, oh, I'm doing that.
That's very good.
Is that quick sour? A little bit of garlic, a little pinch. And you can give me one of the creams there. Yeah, here.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Looks like that.
No problem. Absolutely no problem at all. Okay. And now we're going to turn our pot on low. Extremely low. And while that's starting to simmer, I'll get the little pan going for our broccoli. And now the water, just put maybe a quarter cup of water. And our broccoli that we already seasoned, remember we had that sitting there? We're trying to put it in face up because we don't want to lose it. We don't want to put the florets face down because we don't want them to be too watery or, you know, just to make sure it's consistent. You think, oh, I don't have a steamer, so I can't steam. Yes, you do. You just have to cheat it. A little too high, we can do that low, and then we can cover it, but not fully. So a little air hole out there, and let that do what it's doing. And now you start making the consistency that you like. Oh, sorry. This is a lot of strength.
So how's it feeling? Is it feeling thick or?
Yeah. Get it.
Just curious.
It's
Oh,
potato.
it's thick. It's heavy. Are you looking for this consistency to change? It's going to get thicker and thicker, right?
It's going to get thicker and thicker. And what you can do while you're doing that, push the back of the spoon against, like, yeah, so you can break down some of the, you know, some of the lumps are great for the natural, but you kind of want it smooth. Not as smooth as a smoothie, but definitely.
Not so chunky. This looks delicious. Take over, Shane.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
I see what you mean by the street. You gotta have
You gotta,
yeah. That's not a joke.
This is one of the lazy man meals. You know, I mean, some people would just have a mixer and all that, but that's nice. The mixer is good, but I like to feel and build my food. I like to know that this is what I'm going to eat. This is how I want it. If I rely on mixers, gloves, and things, I don't feel like I'm cooking. I feel like someone else is doing step by step for me and things are happening, but I don't really feel like I had anything to do with it.
You can be connected with your food.
Yes.
That's why it tastes so good.
Thank you.
No problem.
You want to take that from me? And I was just, when my nephew, he would take that and go to the table and just have a blast.
Like cake batter?
Feel encouraged to do the same. Not on
might need
camera
it
though.
again.
Not
Yeah,
on
I'm gonna
camera.
wait.
You don't want to seem greedy on camera, but when no one's looking, I won't tell. Okay.
I'm trying really hard not to do it now.
And now
Keeping it at distance. Here we
you can turn the oven off. I'm gonna put the stove top off and just let it sit and set. I'm doing this to make sure that nothing is stuck at the bottom on the sides, and it's not going to be any burn. Yeah, let's see what our broccoli's doing. You see that? Mm-hmm. Nice. You can tell the couple. I think we're almost ready to plate. Are you hungry?
go. Very.
Okay, good. You smell it? Very nice.
I love broccoli.
I love color. Okay, let's see. Now, do you like your broccoli tender, more like crunch? I like mine with a crunch.
I also like it with crunch.
Okay, good.
I just love broccoli.
Oh, I love broccoli. I love spinach too. I was just disappointed when I didn't turn into Popeye. Only thing, yeah.
You're waiting.
Oh,
waiting.
God, I was
No?
so disappointed. My mother, why did she do that to me? It was like first Santa Claus, then the Tooth Fairy.
Now this.
And now I know Popeye with the spinach. Doesn't make a difference. Okay, so are we doing that? The other half of lemon? I'll take one of those butters. We're gonna let the water dissolve. So you can go ahead and turn it up a little more. And now I'm putting it in the pan like this because the trick is to plate it. You're just going to actually dip the florets, turn them over, and dip them in the sauce so that way every piece gets a little butter flavor.
I like how you cook. I love
I'm paying
butter.
attention to everyone. I want to make sure everyone gets the same taste, not like, oh, did you have the corner part? Because the corner part was good. No, I think
the whole
that's,
thing.
I think, yeah. It shouldn't be, oh, if you would have had a bite at this section, you would have liked it. No. If someone says that, it's just an excuse. Quote me on that. Self-included. You see that? Now it's thickened. You see how it is? And now, that wasn't for display. That was just a little extra flavor of cheese. So now that's the cheese you'll see when we serve it.
Wow, you're killing me. That looks so good.
Are we seeing it? Let's get that. Always put your rice, potato, mac and cheese, whatever, first, because the food, the protein, and the rest can always manipulate how you do the rest. So if that bothers me, it's not going to bother me for long.
There's no way that this is not going to taste good. Just like, it looks so
Okay.
delicious. It's impossible.
Uh-oh.
Jeez.
So this should be like, I think the broccoli should always be like the outline, like it's the city trees. The potato is actually the city, and the protein is the state everyone's trying to get to.
I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna try first.
If I can suggest, I would say to take you a nice little slice of that breast, stop a little of that potato, hit a little broccoli, and have a 3-bite sensation.
I can get in there.
Oh, you can get it there.
Look, I'm from over here. There we go. Okay. That's a piece of chicken.
Oh, yes, it's a lady.
Small
So
piece.
tiny. That's
Yeah, I know.
No, that is so good. What size feet are you, a 2?
I'm a 5, actually.
Oh, yeah.
They're very small.
I'm a
Very,
10.
very small. Really? You know?
Well, women's 12.
good.
You can never be too sure.
Very good.
Okay, good. You taste the flavors? And now that's the breast meat. Is it dry? Okay, terrific.
Not at all.
Can you taste the flavor in the broccoli?
Yes, that's the thing that's different. The lemon, I could taste the
The
lemon.
finish.
It's so different. I've never had that before, broccoli. That is delicious. And the cheese and all the spices and everything that you put in here, perfect. It's perfect. And it tastes really good all together in one bite like that. Oh, it was delicious. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Wow, what an amazing dish. I really enjoyed working with Dhalimu. He was so funny, and the chicken was very tender. I love the mashed potatoes and cheese combination as well. If you'd like to know more about our chefs and their recipes, log on to www.ibchannel.tv/neighborhoodchefs. Think you can get down in the kitchen? Email us at neighborhoodchefs@ibchannel.tv. Well, that's all the time we have for today. So until next time, I'm Ariana, and we hope to see you in the neighborhood.